Hello, hello. I'm so excited that you stumbled upon this video. I am going to be sharing with you the money hack around subscriptions. Subscriptions are something that exist for our personal finances, our business finances, whatever it might be. There is a strategy to reclaiming hundreds of dollars per year when it comes to your subscriptions. So go ahead and keep watching. Give this video a like if you find it helpful. Drop a comment and let me know what subscriptions are non-negotiables for you and you're keeping them in your financial plan and budget. I'd love to hear about it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Eleanor Prisco, and I am a money and mindset coach, and I'm all about helping you bring ease and peace to your financial management on both your personal and business side of the houses. So with that, I hope if you enjoy this content, you'll go ahead and subscribe, like the video, leave me a comment. It definitely helps out with the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next money chat. Hello, hello, everyone. I am so excited for this week's money chat. I'm going to be sharing actually a money hack that I think can be really, really strategic for both your personal finances and your business finances. And this is like a really good strategy to move forward with when it comes to the very sticky topic of subscriptions. Okay, so I know a ton of subscriptions have recently been increasing their prices, and this obviously can be frustrating to a ton of us users. And it's also like some of it's understandable. It's like I think subscriptions are just like a new aspect of, bills that aren't necessarily being taken into consideration of like past financial teachings or kind of like just the archaic financial teachings of budgeting and financial mapping and planning, both on the personal side and the business side. I think that they're more acceptable when it comes to the business side of things, right? Like you're going to have a subscription for your invoicing system and your contracts and your calendar scheduler and things like that, right? When it comes to the personal side, I think that a lot of times subscriptions can get vilified of being like, oh, excess or things that you don't need. And that can be very true for some things. However, coming from the feminine finance methodology side of things, like we like to build sustainable plans, we like to be adaptable, we like to treat ourselves like humans and understand that, sometimes we want those subscriptions to be able to binge certain content or have really super fast shipping or whatever it might be. And so I want to share with you some really critical hacks in how you should start thinking about your subscriptions that can help both your business overhead and your personal side of things, and what has personally helped me save hundreds and hundreds of dollars per year. And this is a process that I'm currently going through. Okay, so you're going to want to first start this process by actually identifying your subscriptions. This is a huge aspect. I think a lot of times we might not even be aware of some of our subscriptions, and it leaves us in this position of kind of just like not knowing. And so that's definitely where you're going to want to start. So step one is identifying your subscriptions and seeing like, okay, well, what am I subscribed to, and like, what am I paying for? The next thing that you're going to want to do is then take a look and cancel any ones that like you're not using, right? So when I went through this process, or cancel ones that are maybe not aligned with your own values, or like maybe some intentions that you're bringing to your own life and spending, right? This recently happened to me for honestly with DoorDash. Like I had a DoorDash subscription. I was happy about it. I signed up when they were doing like some promo where it was like half price for the year. And so I signed up for an annual subscription. It was like coming up for the renewal. It was going to be double the price. We hadn't been eating out as much. I wanted to not eat out as much anyways. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to cancel this to also kind of help me not order delivery as much. So that was one that I canceled, right? The same can be true for like if you found yourself not going to particular streaming services, if you haven't been going, whether that be video, music, whatever it might be, you can cancel those subscriptions and like just test out what it feels like to not have them for potentially a month, right? And be like, oh, am I craving having it back, right? So if you are craving having it back, then you're going to want to move to the next step of this strategy. So number one, identify your subscriptions. Number two, cancel the ones you're not using anymore, or the ones that you want to test out, maybe not using for a month, and see if you start craving them again and like resubscribing later. Then you're going to want to map out shifting all of your subscriptions to annual plans. Now, here's the thing. If you try and do this move in 1 month, it can like totally blow your bank account. And so I highly recommend not doing it in a month. This is a strategic move to annual subscriptions. So I assign one per month, right? So then on top of that, I'm limiting myself to 12 subscriptions like every year, right? So I'm limiting myself to 12 subscriptions on my business side of the house and personal side of the house. And like I assign one per month. So for instance, I'm like, okay, like that means that Spotify is getting moved to December, right? So I can either cancel it now on my monthly subscription, see how I feel about it, of like not having, ad-free music, or am I using it, seeing if I'm needing it between now and December, or I can go onto the annual subscription sooner. So you go ahead and you make a list of all your subscriptions, you assign one per month, and then you start slowly switching them to annual plans, right? In the end, you end up saving hundreds of dollars per month. Like you're reclaiming money back to yourself, right? This is true for both the business side of the house and the personal side of the house when it comes to finances, and has been extremely helpful for me, right? I also went ahead and strategically looked at, because my on the personal side ranged from about like $60 annual subscription up to, like 150. On the business side, it was definitely higher. I had some, as low as like maybe 80, but going up to 300 based on what it was that the product was that I was subscribing to. The higher end of those things being my contract and invoicing system. And so what I did was I strategically looked at, okay, what are higher spend months that I just know naturally happen for me? That's the holidays, and normally one of the summer months, just because I have higher spending in the summer, the weather gets warmer, I go out more, I'm like just doing more activities. And so I know that. So then I looked at my lower cost subscriptions when they'd be switched to annual, and I moved those to higher spend months so they wouldn't be as impactful to my financial plan, right? This is where a huge amount of the strategy comes in to managing your subscriptions in a strategic way. So number one is that like I am going ahead and looking at my subscriptions and slowly moving them all to annual plans, right? Assigning one per month. On top of that, that means I'm going to limit myself to 12 subscriptions per year. And if I don't like a subscription, I can cancel it and then move forward with having another subscription pop in there, right? The way that I'm also recommending this to some of my clients as well as they start to financially educate their kids with subscriptions is just to like share with them the cost, and then like giving them an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, maybe you get 4 subscriptions a year. And you can talk with them about the cost of those subscriptions, different game services, different streaming services, and they get to be a part of making those decisions of what subscriptions they want to be a part of, and like having a open conversation with them as you start to teach them about finances, and encouraging them to understand like, oh, like there's an opportunity here to financially educate my kids around streaming services, whatever it is they may be choosing, and for them to like make the decision of where they want their subscription dollars to potentially go, right? And having them understand, like, instead of maybe giving them all ones in the same like 4 months, it's like you spread them out like one per quarter, and they can make the decision of like canceling a particular subscription or gaining it back. But the whole thing is that like you go ahead and you reflect on your subscriptions, you get rid of ones you're not using, and then you assign them to 1 month per year. And what happens is you start to recoup money in the long run, right? More funds become available. Because yes, in the starting point, you're like, oh wow, that's $100 going out the door a month. However, if you add up all of your subscriptions, you may be paying more of that per month than if you switched them all to annual, right? Now, you may be thinking like, okay, well, there's some of them that don't offer annual plans, such as Audible, Kindle, Spotify. All of those don't offer annual plans, right? They're like, you just have a monthly subscription. However, with all three of those, Audible, Kindle, and Spotify, you can purchase a year-long subscription or 6-month subscription and get a discount, right? And gift it to yourself. So the Spotify one is available for $99 on Amazon. Amazon sells 6-month and year-long subscriptions to Kindle and Audible, and you can get a small discount for that as well. When it comes to going below 6 months on those like Amazon products of Kindle and Audible, there isn't a discount. It just comes out to be the same. So I would recommend testing it out for 6 months, seeing what you like, and saving money that way. And seeing if it's worth it, because Amazon obviously is the credits. And so like if you have the credits for Audible and you haven't used them, then like maybe start out with 6 months, see how it goes, and then transition over to a year if you're frequently using them. So the only one that this I found, like of the normal subscriptions that people have, that I found that this doesn't apply to, is Netflix. Netflix does not have an annual subscription. They only do monthly subscriptions, and you could test out subscribing and unsubscribing. Like if you're not seeing a lot on Netflix, maybe just like skipping a month, unsubscribing, subscribing again the next month, and testing out some of the other streaming services you may have, such as Prime, Hulu, Peacock. There's so many streaming services out there nowadays that, it can be really easy to figure out, which one you can transition to for a month or whatever. So I think that this can be a really, really helpful way to strategically think about, your financial planning and the subscriptions you have. Definitely start out with subscriptions you don't want to cancel going to an annual plan, because obviously you're paying for a year up front. And so it's not like this will like help you like cut down somehow in the future. But as you go ahead and reflect on these things, right, it can be like, oh, like I have a month open, and like you might see yourself spending less that month, and you can, then reallocate those funds to, higher savings that month, or investing in something you've been wanting to invest in. And so I think that this can be a really, really good way to strategically approach your finances and just become more conscious of your spending, develop that more conscious relationship with your spending on both the business side and the personal side of finances, and really think about, okay, like what am I subscribing to? Does this feel good for me? Does it align with my values? Am I like really happy about this subscription? Is it bringing me some kind of ease, peace, pleasure, joy into my life, that helps me? And so it allows you to develop that more conscious relationship with your finances, and to just become more reflective on your spending. And it can also help you with just, relaxing some of those subscriptions by saying like, okay, I'm going to limit myself to 12 a year. Um, that may totally work. Or if you're saying like, oh, well, like there's this one month where like I have one that's only $35 for the whole year, and normally I'm spending around 100, maybe you put two subscriptions that are both small within that, right? I think there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think that this can really, really help you reclaim money, like hundreds of dollars a year that's going out the door through monthly subscriptions. Transitioning to annual plans can really transform. I know on the business side, this has saved me over like $500. On the personal side, it's a couple hundred. But I think that this can be really, really transformative, right? For you to actually, reclaim money, to become more conscious in your relationship with your finances, and to not vilify yourself for just having subscription services that I think are just a norm now in financial plans and budgets. Like this is just how it is these days, and to become more comfortable with the subscriptions you have, but also to reclaim money of like subscriptions not in use, and to go ahead and move forward with, subscriptions that do feel really good to you and like service you and help you. So let me know in the comments if, if you've done this before, or like if you've run the numbers, because like I've run the numbers and I'm like, holy shit, I can be saving hundreds of dollars. I'm going to move forward with this. And so it is a little bit of a slow plan to move forward with, because you don't want to put all your subscriptions hitting in the same month and like blow your bank account. So it's really important that you think about this strategically. Just get out a quick notepad, write down each month, write out your subscriptions, assign one to each month. As I said, do the strategic thing and think about when you have high spending. For me, it's the holidays and one of those summer months. I go ahead and put my lower subscriptions to hit during those months, and it makes it a lot easier for me. But just go ahead and get more conscious, build this intimacy with your money, right? And where your spending is going, and start to learn like, okay, like I'm allowed to have subscriptions. And so what does that look like? And what are the subscriptions that feel really good to me, right? And I'm saying like these can be all kinds of subscriptions out there, right? There are candle subscriptions these days, there's floral subscriptions, there's mascara subscriptions, makeup subscriptions, like all those things exist. And so give yourself permission to have those subscriptions and see what it would be like and what kind of money you could save by switching to potentially, like an annual plan or a 6-month plan, and also see which ones offer where, like, if you gift a subscription and you can gift it to yourself, if that will save you some money as well, because that is available when it comes to Audible, when it comes to Kindle, when it comes to Spotify, some of those bigger ones that exist, and see if others exist where you just gift it to yourself and, use these hacks to just continue to be able to, save yourself some money, right? And, why not, right? Like, why not reclaim some of your money that's going out the door every month? So with that, let me know what subscriptions you're planning to take a look at, what subscriptions are a complete non-negotiable that you're going to be keeping, in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. And let me know if you've ever thought about approaching your subscriptions this way, because and if you want to see more hacks like this from me, because I think there's lots of ways that we can creatively approach our finances and not like kind of, judge and guilt ourselves for having subscriptions or those dining out or going out, and like be willing to be like, oh, okay, like this is just how I approach subscriptions in this new sustainable way, and a way that allows me to have the life that I want and like not harm my finances in a bad way. I actually am reclaiming money and doing this in a very strategic, smart way. So let me know in the comments. I hope you're able to join me next week for my money chat, and I will see y'all later. Bye.